guys. I'm gonna keep this intro nice and short because I'm losing my mind over what we're about to talk about, and I don't really feel like talking too much about it, so if this episode is on the shorter side, you all know why. But this is our Champions League episode. This is the semifinals second leg recap. We are recapping Arsenal and Atleti and Bayern and PSG. And it pains me to say. But we will do that, and then we talk about who advances to the final, and yeah. But before we get too far into the episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. To the person who watched one of our latest episodes, and I was kind of going back and forth a little bit with you. I very strongly dislike you at this moment in time. Bayern should have won. Anyways, that's besides the point. I didn't just spoil the entire video. So we're gonna ignore that. You guys didn't hear anything. We're switching it up on you this week. I have the Arsenal and Atleti game, and Julie will be talking about the Bayern and PSG game. I thought it was time to let Julie talk about Bayern, seeing as she does watch the games as well, and she is a Bayern fan, and it's not fair for me to hog them all the time, so...
She's lying. She can't mentally talk about it.
What? Anyways...
It's okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna start off with Arsenal and Atleti. So, Arsenal beat Atleti 1-0. This means that Arsenal will advance 2-1 on aggregate. Atleti had 2 shots on target, 5 shots total, 46% of possession and 2 corners. Arsenal had 2 shots on target, 13 shots total, 54% of possession, and 5 corners. Arsenal's goal was scored by Bukayo Saka in the 44th minute, and we'll get to that goal in a second. The man of the match was Declan Rice, who is Arsenal's midfielder. So, our recap of the game. Thankfully, it wasn't as boring as last week's game, because last week's game felt like it was just a lot of foul, penalty, foul, you know, like nothing actually being put together. Pretty average, and the stats were pretty average too. And this game is no better. The best stat that we have is 13 shots total, which is crazy. But in the opening 5 minutes, not much happened. We go to the 6th minute. Atleti they were in possession. They passed it back to their goalkeeper. Their goalkeeper passed it forward to Simeone, who passed it into the middle for Antoine Griezmann. Griezmann then plays him on the through ball. Simeone then crosses it back to the middle, where Julian Alvarez is making the run into the middle of the box, and he hits it just wide. Then we go another 12 minutes to the 18th minute, where Arsenal have a through ball for Bukayo Saka, who crosses it into the middle again. Atleti's defending was really messy here. They didn't get a great clear. And then you can tell by this time jump that nothing really happened, because in the 43rd minute, we still have no shots on goal for either of the teams, which... that's not good. That's really not good. But I do want to say one of the highlights that they showed earlier, I think it was like the 7th or the 17th minute, and it was just someone getting a throw in. And I was like, how did this make the highlight reel?
Because there's nothing to highlight.
You're not wrong. But then still at the 43rd minute, so Arsenal will play a through ball to Gyökeres. He goes one-on-one with Jan Oblak, Gyökeres crosses it to the back post where Trossard is waiting. He shoots. Oblak saves it, but he can't control it. This leads to Kayo Saka crashing the goal and cleans it up and scores for Arsenal. So Arsenal take a 1-0 lead. Then we go to halftime to open up the second half. The 50th minute, we have a long ball for Atleti to Giuliano, who gets taken down, and this goes out for a goal kick. Now, the argument here is if it was worth a penalty or if it wasn't. To me, I mean, there was a little bit of contact, and he was already going down when the Arsenal defender kind of touched his shoulder more. And I don't know. I mean, I personally wouldn't have given it. I don't think it didn't seem like worth giving a penalty for me. He looked a little bit like he was flopping anyways, so I wouldn't have given it. But then the 55th minute, Antoine Griezmann has a shot at the edge of the box, and David Raya saves it. The 59th minute, Arsenal have a nice 1-2 combo on the edge of Atleti's box, and then it falls for Martin Odegaard, who hits the shot. It goes just over the crossbar. 3 minutes later, in the 68th minute, Ben White hits one from outside of the box, but it goes wide. The 80th minute, there was a little through slip ball for Atleti's Llorente. He crosses it to the middle. David Raya is able to get just a hair of a touch on it, and he is able to somehow clear the ball, but Atleti quickly recover it. Somehow it gets back to Llorente. He shoots, but David Raya saves it again. Seconds later, we have the Arsenal long ball off of this from a David Raya kick, and the long ball goes to Gyökeres, who gets pulled down by Atleti's Marc Pueblo, who gets a yellow card as a result of that, and literally nothing happens for another 15 minutes, so 90 plus 5, and that's the game. A few game takeaways that I have. To me, it seemed like the highlights really did their best to ensure that Arsenal seemed like the more dominant side. I'm not really a fan of that. I would love to watch the full game to see how true this reigns. I mean, the 13 shots total kind of gives you that in the 5 corners, but I just have a hard time believing that. So I just don't think that Arsenal are that dominant. And of course, with this loss, Atleti will go trophyless this season, and at one point they were on for the triple or something, and now they're walking away with quadruple. Now they're walking away with no trophies. So it's tough for them, and I think Julian Alvarez is looking at leaving the club this summer, which would be a huge loss for them. So hopefully he doesn't leave. That being said, I didn't hear anything about if USMNT's Johnny played at all, so I don't really have anything to say about that. I wish I did, but I don't, unfortunately.
But I guess now to the Bayern Munich game, Bayern versus PSG. So the score was 1-1. PSG advances on aggregate 5-6. So PSG had 8 shots on target and 15 shots total. They had 38% of possession and 8 corners. A goal by Ousmane Dembele in the 3rd minute. Sorry, do you want to say something? No? Okay, cool. And then Bayern had 5 shots on target, 15 shots total, 62% of possession, and 1 corner. Goal by Harry Kane in the 90th plus 4th minute. And then PSG's Willian Pacho was the man of the match. It's just, it's insane to me, the gap between PSG and Bayern's goals. So from the 1st to 5th minute, we had the goal from PSG, Ousmane Dembele, in the opener after I think it was 2 minutes and 23 seconds, assisted by Cavascalia. Bayern left him wide open at the back post yet again. Ball was inches from Neuer's hand. PSG now 2 goals cleared on aggregate. Guys, we had so much time, and some people failed us. That's all I have to say. And then from the 6th to 20th minute, Bayern tried to regain control. We get a yellow card in the 7th minute, Nuno Mendes, for a foul on Olise. And then we had in the 14th minute, Luis Diaz picks PSG's defender pocket, crosses it to the middle, and then Michael but shot is blocked. And then in the 21st minute, Diaz shot over the crossbar on a 1v1 with Emery. Bro had the defender tripping.
That was so good. If there was a one player from this season that I am the most thankful for, it's Luis Diaz, because
Yeah.
the impact that he's had and kind of how he spurs the team on, it's exactly what we needed.
And then in the 26th minute, through ball to Michael, who goes for the goal. He just hit against Madrid. It goes just over yet again. So in the 28th minute, obvious handball against PSG, but ref calls it the other way for PSG, and VAR doesn't intervene. Can we just stay consistent? Because I feel like we're just bouncing back and forth.
You're telling me?
I mean, I think this is like, what, the 4th, 5th time, 3rd time that we're dealing with a handball situation.
And it's
it's just
always
like,
different. It's always different.
We say one thing and then we backtrack and say, no, actually the next handball situation, we're going to say this. I'm really feeling like, I don't want to say refs are biased, but it's kind of being like refs are biased, because one day you're going to say this and then the next time you're going to say this. You need to stay consistent, because if we're not consistent, it's going to start looking like you're biased. And if you don't want to look like you're biased, stay consistent. Consistency is key, and consistency is something we need in sports, and it's not happening. You're just saying what you want to say.
I do also want to add to that point that this referee had only had 15 other Champions League appearances. So he only refed 15 other Champions League games up into this point, and this was his first semifinals that he ref. And
was he nervous?
I don't know, but I don't want to be that person that's always blaming the refs, but to have this particular game be your first semifinals, or even one of your first 5, this is crazy.
I feel like when it comes to a game like this, we need to have someone who's done it more than 15 games, someone who's experienced in, I don't know, I'm just saying, experience is key in some situations, and no hate against you, but I just feel like, especially with high profile games, ones that are very this is determining I don't know.
Who goes on
Anyways,
to the final. But
yeah,
to your point, it's just well, if you're going to give him big games, why don't you give him big games during the first 8 phase, where no one's really that far into the competition? Like our game against PSG earlier this season, why was he not, reffing that? Or even a Man City game, a Real Madrid game, why not? Why is this his first, semifinal game? Yeah.
And then, guys, in the 30th minute, yet another handball. The PSG defender clears it into his own player's hand, and the ref yet again waves it away. Again, I don't want to say bias. I don't want to say bad ref. I don't want to say this, but I mean, back-to-back situations, and you're going to say different things.
Right, and this one was even more obvious. His hand wasn't even in a natural position. You're telling me that this is a natural position? Because it's not.
And then to top it off, Bayern appeals for penalty for handball, not giving to due to IFAB deflection rule.
Which is where a deflection occurs when a ball is unexpected or results from a reactionary, non-controlled action, meaning the offside attacker is still penalized. But there was no offside.
No.
It wasn't our player. Like, our player had no play in that. The guy is just standing there, and it just hits his arm all the way up here. Like, hello? It's so bad. I don't even understand. And if we're gonna call this one, then what was the point of last week? Because last week we saw it deflect off of his leg, and then it should have been called offside for us, or whatever, not offsides, but it should have been given the other way. Like, why are we calling it two different things, and it's two different reactions?
The inconsistency is insane. But we have a lot to talk about, so let's move on. Let us know in the comments what you think about this inconsistency with handballs. I don't care if you're biased on your team. Do you think this inconsistency is fair to the players and the teams? But moving on. So in the 32nd minute, Neuer saves Neves' header to the back post. In the 33rd minute, we have a yellow card from Bayern, Jonathan Tah, and Bayern still without a shot on target. And then 10 minutes later, not 10 laps. Sorry, I still have F1 in my brain from yesterday. 10 minutes later, we have a backheel pass from Michael to Jamal, who shoots, but the PSG goalie saves it. 44th minute, through ball to Pavlovic, who passes it to Jamal, who shoots again, but still goes wide. Awesome. In the 45th minute, we have a yellow from Kimmich, and then in the 45th +2, Bayern's free kick, Kimmich takes, and Tah with the header that goes wide again. And then in the 45th +3, another yellow card from PSG, and then we meet halftime. We're still 0-1. Now into the next half, Bayern starts the second half aggressive, but PSG is just as aggressive, so it's pretty much that's it. And then in the 56th, we have a shot on target from PSG to Desiree Adoui. And then in the 57th, we had a shot on target from Kvaratskhelia. In the 62nd, we have a shot on target from Bayern, Stancic. And then in the 64th, we have a shot on target from Dewey. In the 65th, we have a sub in from PSG, Dembele for Barcola. And then in the 67th, we have a sub in from Bayern, and we have Kim Min-jae for Tah. And then in the 70th minute, we have a shot on target from Luis Diaz. In the 72nd, we have a shot by Dewey, and then PSG has a double sub in for Hernandez and Beraldo. And then in the 77th, we have a yellow card from Luis Diaz. And then in the 78th minute, Bayern subs in Nicholas Jackson for Musiala. In the 79th, we have a shot on target from, again, Kvaratskhelia with PSG. In the 83rd, we have a shot from Nuno Mendes. In the 85th, PSG subs in Meulu. Tell me if I said it wrong, okay, guys? I'm okay with being corrected. For Mendes, and then Bayern subs in Leonard Carl for Upamecano. In the 86th, we get a yellow card from PSG, and this is with Marquinhos. I watch a lot of soccer games. I'm not going to remember how to say them all correctly. Okay? I saw the comments. I see a lot of names throughout the day. I am not, what's the word? Unemployed. And then from the 86th to the 90th minute, so the 90th +5 added time. So 90th +4, we have a goal from Bayern, which makes it 1-1. We're still 5-6 on aggregate. The goal was scored from Harry Kane, assisted by Alphonso Davies. Bayern needed more time, but they could not find it. So that leads us with our answer. Like we said earlier, Bayern did not advance. PSG, we just need some more time and better refs, but I'm gonna leave that there. But here are some game takeaways. I mean, again, the handball situation, that was irritating enough. At this point, like I've been saying, we just need to be consistent. We need to find a middle ground, and until we find that, it's gonna look like the refs are biased. It's gonna look like we don't know what the heck we're doing, and until we find that middle ground, it's just gonna be downhill for a lot of teams. And then we have Bayern subbing defenders and putting attackers on for the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game.
We really went for it. That's all I can say.
We tried. We'll put an effort in, but just too many crap shows happening at once.
Yeah, one last thing I want to share with you guys. So, yeah, you guys know that we both work, so I was unable to watch the game this week. But the first thing my mom says to me when I walk in the door, I don't know what PSG paid the refs, but they paid them something real good. And that's my mom saying that. And my mom doesn't really care to watch. But the fact that she watched this game and she was like, she also told me over dinner, she's like, I'm surprised Harry Kane didn't get a foul called for him because I thought for sure he went down, there was so much contact against him, and then the ref called it the other way for PSG. And she was like, I just don't know how that even happened because it was not Harry's fault. The PSG guy was all over him. And I was like, well, thanks for spoiling, Mom. Thanks for spoiling that for me.
But yeah, that was these two games. I hope you enjoyed our little breakdown. But I mean, you guys kind of know what the final is going to be. It's going to be Arsenal versus PSG. Don't really care for either team. But I guess at this point, I'm rooting for Arsenal.
I'm rooting for both of them to lose.
That's what she said about the Super Bowl. I just want you guys to know that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed
if my
this
team's
video.
not there, they can both lose.
Yeah. Draw at that point. But we don't really do draws in football. Like, someone has to win. But moving on.
Remind me.
Yeah, I know. Please like and subscribe and turn on our post notifications. Go check out our social media pages. We do have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook for those people that use Facebook still. But anyways, if you don't want to miss any of our other videos, go check them out. We do have a birthday video coming out for me and specifically made because my birthday is the 9th. I haven't seen it, so I will be watching it with y'all. A little nervous, but I know either way it's going to be funny, and that's all that matters. But yeah, and if you didn't see our F1 video, I think that's coming out before this one, so go check it out. It was a doozy, and now we gotta wait 3 more weeks, so if you're bored, go watch our old videos too. And thank you to all who has subscribed recently. We appreciate it. But that's it. Goodbye.
Wow, that was beautiful.